Hi everyone, and welcome to C-Fit in the Kitchen. Today I'm going to be highlighting about 4 different recipes from the Fall into Fitness program, and they're all so delicious. They're cheap, they're easy, they're fast, quick, easy things that you can make that are also affordable. And I utilize a lot of seasonal produce in the Fall into Fitness program, so that keeps the bill down, I'll say that much. So we're going to start with the flourless pumpkin pancakes. So what I have here is a 1/4 cup of egg whites. And then from there, I already put some vanilla extract in there. And basically what I do is just add in all the ingredients. So you do a 1/2 banana. There is old-fashioned oats. If you're gluten-free, you can easily get gluten-free oats, so don't worry about that. And then we also have a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Then we have a scoop of protein powder. You can use whey protein powder or brown rice protein powder, soy protein powder, whatever you are into. Okay, and that helps to really thicken this up. So this kind of takes the place of the flour, which is how it can be flourless. I know for me that when I have normal pancakes with flour in them, I am a little sensitive to gluten, but also I always feel kind of heavy after, so these pancakes make you feel light and you can still do things after. Then I'm going to add in the pumpkin puree. It's an 1/8 cup. This is starting to look really yummy. Then from here, you're going to add in about 1/3 cup, a little bit less to start off, of unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Okay. The last 2 ingredients are pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie spice. I like things very pumpkin-y and very cinnamony, so I put a little bit more in than the normal person. Usually about a dash for the normal person. I do a couple. And again, you're just mixing it all up. It gets a little messy. It's okay. And then from here, you just pour the batter onto a frying pan. Make sure you spray it with Pam. Okay, so you have your frying pan, you have some Pam. Make sure you coat it with a good amount of Pam, or a non-stick cooking spray, whatever, again, you're into. You can get the olive oil kind. And then you're just gonna pour it on just like a normal pancake. Really, really easy. And then you're just going to let it cook until you start to see little bubbles come up, and then that's a really good indicator for you to try to flip it. It's easier to use just like the metal spatula versus the one that's coated, just because it sticks a little bit to these. So just a metal one works fine. So you can start to see there's some bubbles forming, so I'm just gonna give it a go. Again, you're just gonna flip it like a normal pancake. I'm not that great at the flipping part, but see, it looks just like a normal pancake, no flour in it. You just let it cook for a little while. The egg whites are really fast cooking, so it might only take you 5 to 10 minutes to make the entire batch. The great thing is you have more than 2 pancakes, and this is only 1 serving. So you end up getting about 4 pancakes, and the calorie range is about 250. So it's a great amount for breakfast, and to top it with Greek yogurt is delicious. You can also mix the Greek yogurt with pumpkin puree, and so you can make it very pumpkin-y, and you don't even need maple syrup. But if you want maple syrup, have some. So these are the flourless pumpkin pancakes. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make my favorite granola/protein bars that are obviously homemade. They're delicious. You know everything that's going into them, and I call them Kate Nut bars. So you're going to start off by putting the peanut butter in. And this is a 1/2 cup. You can also use almond butter, or you can use cashew butter, any kind of butter that you like, just not real butter. And then you're also going to add in the honey, or you can use agave. If you're going to use agave, use a little bit less because it's just not as thick. It's a little bit more liquidy, so that it changes the recipe and the consistency. So what you do from here, you just mix this together, and you just put it over very, very low heat. If not, it'll burn. Okay. So just put this over low heat. Just mix it up until it becomes a little more soft and liquidy. You also want to make sure that you put in the vanilla extract as well. And that gives it such a great flavor. You can use chunky peanut butter as well, and it's really, really good. Okay, we have a great consistency here. It's just easy to stir. You know how peanut butter is hard to stir by itself? This is just easier. It's kind of a blend between honey and peanut butter consistency. Okay. From here, you're just going to add all the other ingredients in. So we have flaxseed. We have the almonds. And then we also have half a cup of oats. Then we have protein powder. I use chocolate because I love things that are peanut butter and chocolate. So this ends up kind of tasting like a Reese's peanut butter cup, which is so yummy. So it's about a scoop and a half. Again, you can use any kind of protein powder that you like. And again, it kind of takes the place of like the flour that would typically be there. Okay, let's go ahead and mix that all in. All right, so it looks like this. Once you know it's pretty much done, I like to add in the pumpkin spice and cinnamon at this point. Again, I use more than most normal people, but I just like things full of flavor. And then once you feel like it's all mixed together and it's about this consistency, kind of like dough, you're good. You can shut off the stove. So after it's done on the stove, you just take Pam or non-stick cooking spray, spray the bottom of any kind of Tupperware, or you can even use like an old whipped cream or butter container. Take the mixture. And you just pat it down. And you can use different size containers, doesn't have to be this small. I like mine a little bit taller and just a little bit chunkier, I guess. And then, put the lid on top, and you put this into the fridge for about 45 minutes to an hour or so, depending upon which container you use. It'll depend. And then if you want them done faster, you just put them in the freezer. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge. And there you go, cake nut bars. All right, so now we're going to make one of my favorite chicken dishes. It's chicken that is marinated in a maple cider vinaigrette. So I'm gonna show you how to make the vinaigrette, and I'm gonna show you how to make the chicken. So from here, all you're doing is taking maple syrup, about a quarter of a cup. Who doesn't love maple syrup? Don't worry, this makes more than one serving. And then you're going to add 1/8 of a cup of olive oil. I know that you're supposed to be using the liquid measure for that, but here you go. I like to make everything in the liquid measuring cup just because it's easier, and if you have any left over, you can just put a little thing on top and you're done. Then we're going to use apple cider vinegar, 1/8 of a cup. You should be using one of these measuring cups though. And then the last part, you can either use honey mustard or any kind of mustard that you have in your house. And that's only about a tablespoon. Now you do. Take a whisk or fork, whatever you got going on in the house at the moment. And you're just going to mix it all together. From there, you're going to take your skinless, boneless chicken breast. I use organic free range. And then you put it into a Tupperware dish, and then you cover all of the chicken with this marinade. I marinated the chicken for 2 days, so this chicken is going to taste amazing. So I'm going to grab it out of the fridge, all marinated. Looks delicious, right? From here, you're just going to put it on medium heat. Put a little bit of olive oil down just to kind of coat the pan. Just let that heat up a little bit. How delicious this looks. I'm so excited. I made this a couple weekends ago and it was the best chicken I've ever had. Okay, so again, you're just gonna let this heat up. Make sure that the olive oil is spread throughout the entire pan. And your chicken. Chicken and put it right on top. I like to take some of the extra marinade. Just pour some on top. And then you just let it cook. Again, you obviously want to make sure, like with any chicken, that when you're done, it should not look pink at all. Make sure you take a knife and you're going to just cut into it to make sure that the middle is cooked all the way, avoiding any issues with any kind of salmonella poisoning that you could have. Just make sure it's fully cooked chicken. Obviously, the thinner the slices of chicken, the less time it'll take. So these are a little bit thicker, so they might take a little bit over time. All right, so you just want to make sure that you cut into the middle of the chicken just to make sure that it's cooked all the way. This one you can see it's still kind of a little pink. It seems a little too moist. This one you can tell it looks pretty cooked all the way through, to me at least. So this one I would say is done. This one needs a little bit more time. But again, depending upon how big the meat is, the piece of meat is, you're just gonna have to vary your time. Here is a quick and easy way to make baked apples. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can either do it in the oven, like I'll show you, but you can also do it in the microwave. If you do it in the microwave, again, you just cut them probably into smaller pieces than this, probably into thirds of these. And then you put the spices, the truvia, and then you put it in the microwave. I think that it's just so much better from the oven, and it gives your whole house or apartment a delicious smell. So what you do is just cut up all of your favorite local apples. You just slice them. So I do, I just take an apple. I just take one whole apple and I cut right around the core. If you have a core, that's great too. Then I just take each piece and I cut it into thirds and I put all the pieces right inside. Really, really, obviously easy. You can even do this with your kids, get them involved in being in the kitchen, or your husband. And then from there, you take cinnamon, seeing a theme here, and pumpkin pie spice, which is a little different than most people. Then, depending upon how much apples you have, you could put, 1 to 3 packets of truvia. Apples are sweet already as is. I just like them a little bit sweeter, especially if you're going to make the C-Fit graham cracker apple pie. You might want it just a little bit sweeter. So from here, you're just gonna make sure everything, all the apples are evenly coated with the cinnamon, the pumpkin pie spice, and the truvia. Good. From here, you're going to make sure that your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, a little bit higher if you want them to cook a little bit faster, and all you do is put them right inside, okay? And you just let them bake. You're gonna wanna check in on them periodically. I usually put them in about this much for about 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes, but check on them periodically because if you cook them too long, you also create another recipe, which is called applesauce. So if you wanna make applesauce, you just make sure that they go a little bit longer than normal, and then you just can mix it all together and it's delicious. So I've made one to show you guys. So this is what the consistency pretty much looks like. This actually might be like an applesauce, but you can see that they're still intact. I keep the skin on because there's so many nutrients in the skin, but if you're not a skin person, you can easily take them off before you get started. It's just a little more of a workload to do before. That's how you make either applesauce or baked apples. So the last things that I want to show you are some of my favorite little snacks, and they're also great to bring to parties. And I know that everybody has a Halloween party to go to and a Thanksgiving meal to go to. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite things to bring with you, or to host if you're hosting. So the first one is dates. They're just pitted dry dates, and I put a little bit of peanut butter on top. Or again, you can put almond butter or cashew butter, whatever you like, or just have them plain. But with snacks, you usually want to pair some kind of carbohydrate with protein or healthy fat. So this is what we're doing here. Then here we have cashews, almonds, walnuts, any kind of nuts that you're interested in, and almond butter. Apple butter, sorry. Apple butter is seriously the easiest thing to make. I don't know why I just didn't make it. All it is apple cider and apples. Really, really easy and delicious. Then we have dried figs with goat cheese. Again, pairing some kind of protein with your carbohydrate, which is your fig. Then these are the cake nut bars. This is how they look at the end. I sprinkle a little bit of chocolate protein powder on top just to give it a little something extra. And then last but not least, my favorite thing is having a few CFit cocktails. So this one's super easy. There's literally 2 ingredients if you don't count the ice. All you do is take, this used to be called Absolute Brooklyn, but now it's called Absolute Orient Apple. It's a blend between apple flavor and ginger. It smells really good. So I just kind of eyeball it. And then you put in any kind of seltzer water or soda water, but I really love vanilla seltzer water in it. There's also a pumpkin spice one by Polar, but I can't find it this season, so if you find it, let me know where you find it. And then I just float a couple Granny Smith apples to give it some color. Feel free to put any kind of apple that you love, and these little apples will be a little drunk at the end. And so yeah, this is how you make the CFit fall cocktail. Oh my gosh, it's like fall. It's so good. So eat up.